Hey everyone, welcome to IVF Baby Hope. If you're new to the channel, my name is Marissa and I have a lot of updates since my last post. I think I posted a video about a month ago, which seems to have flown by because I looked at the timeline of my videos and I was like, wow, I haven't posted anything. So um, yeah, a lot of big updates. Gosh, where do I start? It's let's see. The first thing is, um, so I was released from my IVF clinic. So that was a huge deal. That was at 10 weeks. I was released. Um, then my next step was then to meet with my regular OB, my regular obstetrician, at 12 weeks, and so I scheduled that appointment. And in between that time, I ended up buying a home baby Doppler where you can listen to the baby's heartbeat. And luckily, I got it really quickly, like maybe like 2 to 3 days, and I was able to find the baby's heartbeat pretty easily. Some women say that it's a hit or miss. Like some women say it works really well and they find it really easily. Some say it takes them, forever and they can't find it. So I was pleasantly surprised that I was able to find the heartbeat pretty much I was basically checking it every morning. And yeah, that's a whole nother topic, but it definitely gives me peace of mind and it's comforting. So it's just something, so I asked the doctor, I said, is it okay that I do, a heartbeat check every morning? And they said, yeah, it's totally fine. And other women on Facebook support groups that are also pregnant were asking the same question, and so we were all kind of like wondering. And yeah, it is okay to do. Obviously, you don't need to be doing it all day long. Like I find the heartbeat, I listen for a few seconds, and then I stop. So, so that's kind of cool. And that also had that in between week 10 and 12, I, was itching to make sure everything was okay. And so that kind of helped me like relieve my anxieties, which unfortunately they are there. But I get to my 12-week appointment and oh no, there was one thing that happened before the 12 weeks. So before I left my IVF doctor, he ended up doing the NIPT or the NIPT test, and that actually tests for chromosomal abnormalities, which they did test in the PGS testing with the embryos, but this is kind of like a doubles up to make sure that that didn't miss anything, because with PGS testing, that only tests the placenta cells. It doesn't actually test the baby cells. So the NIPT test is a blood test, and it checks for chromosomal abnormalities or anything genetic, and it also reveals the gender. So I was like, yeah, let's do it. And so then I did the test, and I also at the same time, actually like maybe 2 days before I knew I was going to take the NIPT test, I ordered this gender sneak peek. It is called gender sneak. It's a sneak peek and it's a gender reveal. It basically is the same blood test technology that NIPT uses, and I actually didn't know that I was going to do the NIPT when I ordered it. Otherwise, I wouldn't have ordered it. However, it's great because it gives you. Some women said, gosh, the NIPT test worked, or not the NIPT, the sneak peek test was wrong. It was not the correct gender. And I was like, oh my gosh, so I thought that would be neat to see if it's correct when I do it. And so I got both results back, like I got the NIPT test results first, and then I got the sneak peek results after, like a day later. And yes, and it's a surprise. It's a surprise. It's our gender reveal. And actually, I have a video that I'm going to post, another video that I will post after this, and it will be our gender reveal video because it was really awesome. It was a lot of fun. So anyways, so I won't reveal the gender on this video, but I will post another video that will reveal the gender because it's cute. So fast forward, we are meeting with the obstetrician, and she basically just went over, my medications. She did an ultrasound, and I got to see the baby moving, and that was really exciting. And then we talked about Lebanox because, as I had mentioned in earlier videos, we had used a medication. It's a daily injection in my stomach, and it is a blood thinner. And it was something that we added to this pregnancy that we had not added prior. And so she wanted to refer me to a maternal fetal medicine specialist, like for high-risk pregnancies, but also for women who are taking certain medications that the obstetrician can't really talk on or speak on. So she referred me to her also to do my first trimester ultrasound, where they do like an anatomy scan and they check to see the blood flow and the structures and the facial structures, everything. It was so that was what she scheduled me for, and did blood tests and the urine tests. And so fast forward, then I went to the first trimester ultrasound with the maternal fetal medicine specialist, and I was able to see, there was like a huge screen, and I got to see the baby moving around, and there was like anatomy review. We kind of reviewed the anatomy. Everything looked perfect, and that was according to the MFM, and she said that everything looked perfect, and the blood flow, all the blood flow, she was able to look at the kidneys and everything, the brain. It was really neat, very thorough, and it was really comforting to see that. And so everything looked really great. I almost forgot to mention about the Lebanox because that was a big deal going into this IVF cycle and transfer. So the Lebanox, as I've talked about in prior videos, is a blood thinner, and it was a medication that many women who had gone through recurrent miscarriage added Lebanox and had success, which some women, I believe, some women have certain conditions like certain blood clotting disorders or certain blood issues with the blood. Now, I had testing done. It was very borderline for these specific conditions. Actually, there was only one marker that I had that was like borderline, and so the thing is that I guess can be elevated if you had like a cold or a pregnancy loss or any type of like infection around the time that you had the test. It could actually elevate it a little bit, and that might be why mine was elevated, because I might have had something happen around that time. So that was what the doctor thought for me. However, it happened to coincide with the pregnancy that has progressed. So when I was with my IVF doctor, he had said to stop the Lebanox at 10 weeks. And I was like, how could I stop this medication? It has been the one thing that was different that I thought, obviously, in this specific pregnancy, and it's working. So I was really scared to stop this medication. And a lot of women, I've been on a Lebanox support group with pregnant women who also take Lebanox. Most of the women in this support group have specific medical conditions as why they're taking it. Some women, like the smaller percentage, like myself, are prescribed this medication to just see if it helps. But there's no absolute like diagnosis of why we would be prescribed it, besides recurrent pregnancy loss, which is it's a diagnosis in itself, but not a specific medical condition. So what ended up happening was I ended up going to my OB, and she said, I will refer you to the maternal fetal medicine specialist, so the MFM that I talked about, And I talked to her at length about the Lebanox, and she highly recommended stopping the medication. She said, obviously, the issue with bleeding, and Lebanox as a blood thinner, like if you were to have an injury, they cannot stop the bleeding, or it's very hard to stop the bleeding. Like it's dangerous, and so it can raise those risks, and also with delivery, it causes specific it can cause things to be a little bit more complicated or a little complex, so I was really adamant about staying on this medication my entire pregnancy. I did not care about having to give myself a shot every day. And it bruises pretty good. Like I have had bruising all around my stomach. And so I ended up really taking in, my doctor, the IVF doctor said, stop taking it. The MFM said to stop taking it. And so I really thought it through, and I decided to stop taking it, which was a big, huge leap of faith, because I don't know. So anyways, that was about a week ago, and everything's fine. So, it kind of goes back to, maybe it has something to do with the beginning of the pregnancy, like maybe it helped. Maybe the entire time it was always just the embryo. It needed to be the right embryo. It needed to be the right timing, whatever it might have been for this to have been such a process and such a journey. I'll never really understand or know. But, it's kind of funny how when things like line up, and it all seems to fall into place. Like this is all supposed to be this way for me. And so that's it. So that's my big update on the Lebanox, because that was like the only medication that I had continued taking up until about 13 weeks, which was about a week ago. So yeah, that's that. That's the update on that one. So after that, then and that was at 13 weeks. So 13 weeks I went for the first trimester ultrasound. 12 weeks I went to the regular OB, and now I am 14 weeks, which is the start of the second trimester, which is crazy. Like this last month has flown by, and it's probably just because of just a lot going on, and just living in the moment, and just being excited, and a lot happening. So so basically at this point I'm 14 weeks, and I'm actually starting to show. I think my bump popped out around 12 weeks, and I'll give you a little. I'll share a picture of what that looks like now, and I feel so much better. That's the other thing is, now that I think the last couple of weeks, the last maybe 2 to 3 weeks, I started slowly feeling better. Not nauseous, not so tired, because I was really nauseous, and I was extremely tired for a good month and a half to 2 months. And so now, like, yes, I still get tired, and on occasion I'll get a little nausea from like some weird smell or something. But overall, I feel like a human being again. It was really rough. It was a rough couple of months. And I also had, as I mentioned before, a new puppy that also was a lot of energy. And oh my gosh, just the combination of the pregnancy and the puppy, that was pretty funny. Not really. I mean, I literally was going to break down. I was just like, I don't know what I'm doing. But it's all simmered down. Everything's starting to just be smooth, and the pregnancy is, everything feels good, and I'll have to erase that. I listened to the heartbeat this morning, and I slipped and said the gender, so I had to go back and cut that out. That's pretty funny. So other than that, that's my big update. I mean, at this point, For the IVF Baby Hope side, I don't know if I'm sure you've seen the other videos, maybe or maybe not, on the nonprofit side of IVF Baby Hope, and it's taken, this was December, January, February, March. It's taken about 4.5 months to get we're like so close to getting the nonprofit status, but it is a long process, and I think mostly because of COVID. So it's just been drawn out, and so the purpose of the IVF Baby Hope was to share my story, to share my experiences, because a lot of women in going through what I've gone through over the years shared their stories, and it really helped me. Like, it really helped me because I felt it feels lonely, when you go through fertility treatments and IVF. It's hard. It's hard. So, so my goal is to set up the nonprofit and help with expenses towards medications, because medications are really expensive. They're like $5,000 to $6,000 a cycle. It's really expensive. Now, the other thing, like helping with partial scholarships, and so I'm kind of working out the details. But the main thing is I want to help women who don't have as many resources, who want to start a family, be able to do that. So ultimately, that's the long-term goal of IVF Baby Hope. And of course, I'm gonna share videos of along my pregnancy, and I plan on sharing product reviews and things that I'm using and things that I'm loving, things that I'm not so much loving, just to continue sharing, And yeah, so thanks everyone for staying along the journey, and yeah, it's good. Everything's really good right now, so I'm chilling. All right, everyone. Until next time, stay well and talk to y'all later. Bye.